A taxpayer-funded program aimed at helping reduce crime, resolve conflict, and offer opportunities for children largely failed to reach two of the deadliest parts of the Charlotte area over the last year and a half. Mayor Vi Lyles touted the Jumpstart Micro Grant Program as an innovative way to address Charlotte's violence. But WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito found out that two of the city's self-proclaimed priority zip codes received limited funding.
28205 and 28217, crosstown zip codes that police records show are responsible for almost 20% of the city's murders since 2020. Yet we found these neighborhoods received far less attention from this grant program.
I was that person.
When Kenny Robinson walked out of prison a free man after serving a decade for bank robbery,
Nothing.
the 23-year-old started over
Zero.
empty-handed. But then someone filled the void.
I met a person who cared.
Almost 10 years later,
I am now 42 years old.
the student is now the teacher.
That's why we started it, so others wouldn't have to go through some of the basic obstacles that we had to.
Robinson's nonprofit, Freedom Fighting Missionaries, steps in to support the formerly incarcerated. He used a $1,000 Jumpstart grant from the city as a starting point to raise thousands more for what he called Backpack to Success.
These are the things that you need if you're going to begin your reentry process.
The money supplied 25 men and women released from jail after finishing a reentry program with smartphones and an unlimited 30-day wireless subscription, a rideshare gift card, prepaid debit card, basic supplies, and in some cases, even Chromebooks.
That instills hope, and we have determined that hope can supersede almost any obstacle or barrier that we're faced with out here.
Since its creation in 2018, the Jumpstart Grant Program has given more than 200 grassroots community groups and small nonprofits a combined $500,000, most recently to reach people in zip codes deemed priorities. But our review of grant closeout reports shows Jumpstart only funded a limited number of programs in 28205 and 28217 over the last year and a half.
It's just simply not enough funding to support a viable program in that area.
Robinson says it shows a lack of financial commitment and a lack of equality.
Some of the high crime areas are tougher to work in.
There's a lot of groups that just wouldn't apply.
Robert Dawkins says it's critical we pay attention to the whys, especially since the city recently ended Jumpstart and graduated to Safe Charlotte, a program with larger grants and more potential.
I think the city needs to learn from it on how can we reach out and get more grassroots groups involved.
The Action NC political director says this doesn't just fall on the city, though.
The community needs to learn that any way that I can get an in to build what I can do to get larger money, I should accept to do.
Jumpstart served as an introduction to the world of grant writing for some, a way for organizations and groups to gain the confidence and know-how they need to secure more money down the road. Money aimed at keeping us all safe.
It's made a modicum of difference.
Program records show while some Jumpstart grants went specifically toward crime prevention, most focused on root causes like youth and parent opportunities.
This was a huge win for many.
Federico Rios says the Jumpstart program sparked the growth of community leaders and their organizations, groups with influence in the community that will go on to do even more to address Charlotte's challenges.
I can't force organizations to apply. I don't know that as many organizations exist in those zip codes.
The Office of Equity, Mobility, and Immigrant Integration Assistant Director says the city aggressively marketed Jumpstart.
We don't want to limit ourselves.
But admits some zip codes could use more attention.
What can the city do to ensure that this money is spread out equally in the future?
We will continue to ensure that all organizations in our community are cognizant and aware of the funding opportunities that we make available.
The opportunities are there. The problem is connecting to the opportunities.
Kenny Robinson's ready for his next opportunity. He ended his involvement with Jumpstart after just one round, unable to commit the time needed for required Zooms and training.
If we don't call them out on these things, then things will never change.
We know based on public records, these grants impacted more than 12,000 people since summer 2020. Some only helped a few, others helped hundreds. But the city told us there's no reporting process to track the program's overall performance. Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.
And if you're asking where's the money, we're here for you. Just go to WCNC.com/money and you'll find links to those stories and other helpful resources.